Okay, are we up? Let's see. Everything looks green. My dashboard here, live, green. Hi. Late, like 5 seconds, because I was typing a comment. Give me a break. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Late. Okay, you know what we're doing here. Great lighting today for the moment. Till I put my hands in here, then the camera's going to go all funny. Look at this. It's got this automatic light thing. I can't turn it off. There's no manual light on this camera. Whatever, we'll try and get it done here. Okay, let's get to this. It's coming along well, but there's days and days and days of work still. You know, this was supposed to be up and running for the spring in our party room. It's now March the something or other, well into the spring. And many days now coming up in March and April were sold out for parties already. Some days are sold out already. So. And the poor blocks that are in there now, the Peach Boy Story and the Sensoji Temple, they're just getting used again and again and again. So it's really important I get this done. Help take the load off those blocks. What we're not sure about with this party thing, once we start the Great Wave in the party room, it's hard to imagine leaving it alone. You know, everybody's going to want to do it. So once we put this block set in the room, I guess maybe we can't really go back. We can't do other images, you know. I don't know what to do about that. The block sets there, the Sensoji Temple image and the Peach Boy Story, they've done really well. People have been happy with them. The original idea was to have seasonal images. So when people were here in March or April, they'd get a cherry blossom image or something. When they were here in the fall, there'd be something, you know, seasonal. But the blocks that have been there have worked so well that we've been reluctant to retire them for something else. So. Oops, I broke it there. what's happening here this morning. What have we got? Streaming hiccups. Wait a minute. There's no other software running on this machine. Let me just check around. Nope. 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 I'm wired in. There's no Wi-Fi happening here today. Drop frame 0. Fully green. CPU usage 12%. If there's a problem, I think it's at the other end. Oh, conversations. Blocks selling. We don't sell blocks, we buy blocks. Which I've got a story about that here, maybe today, whatever. Remind me about this a bit later. Any word on the blog? Yes. I tried to get it up last night. I didn't make it. Hopefully tonight. The blog. I don't know. I've given up on the software we've been using. I tried to code my own stuff last night and got it almost done. But so the blog is coming back to life. Just give me a couple more days to get it worked out. The blog, now that Facebook seems to be imploding, collapsing, whatever. Got to get our blog up again. That was a knife breaking noise. No, it was okay, just the wood. I think somebody mentioned blocks or something in the stream a minute ago. We've got different news about blocks today. I've got three or four things to mention and show you and ask about. And I'll wait until Cameron gets here, I think. I've got to get some work done first. Once Cameron's here, maybe we'll throw the computer over to him and I'll show you these blocks. A little tease just here. Brand new, interesting cherry blocks from Croatia. We'll talk about that later. Pretty rough carving here, you know, but these are very small. This is not the real Great Wave. We're not delicately copying all hook size wavelets here. We're just cutting out shapes that look like wavelets. These are not hook-sized lines here. This is all redrawn. We've shrunk it. We've simplified it. Wherever there were 20 wavelets, now there are 10 or whatever. What's happening over there now? Stream of discussion going on. Look at this. Can't catch most of this, I'm sorry, so I'll try and catch up to it later. Looks like you're having good conversations, so go for it. Touch of oil, eh? This is the camellia oil, just a touch of it. Too much and the paper will rub off. A bit too deeply. Got lost. Where am I? Here we are. That's the downside of rotating the block, you know. The best guys in the old days would really minimize how much they rotate the block. Part of it is just time. X seconds rotating is X seconds you're not cutting, you know. And part of it also is you get lost. You know, you rotate the block, where am I? It's X seconds to get reoriented into where you are. And when you're a full-time production worker, bang, 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 you know, trying to get as much done as you possibly can, all the seconds add up, you know. All this slow rotate, cut here, move your knife. They just want to go bang, 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 bang without rotating anything. But you got to be so flexible in your wrist, you know, 360 degrees, you know. Okay, that zone's done, I think. What do we got here? So, first boat is done. First bunch of waves are done. Now we've done the mountain yesterday, so now let's attack the boat underneath the mountain. What's on the stream here? What's on the chat? You guys are on your own, are you? Food and stuff. My hair's getting in the way here, you know. I've got to get a haircut sometime soon. It's like being 17 again, letting your hair go so long it gets in the way, you know. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum. Okay, now for the bottom row. What am I carving on these boats? This is the matting. When you look back at the original, what they've got here, the boat side is there, and there's sort of, I guess they're mats made of straw or matting of some kind over the boats, over the gunnels. What are they called on a boat like this? So you can see it's matting. So it's a couple of horizontal strokes and then just a bunch of brush strokes that are intended to depict the matting. That's what I'm carving right here, right now. So we did one yesterday down at this part of this boat. Now there's one up here. It takes seconds to draw, you know, tick, 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 5-6 seconds to do the whole row and a few minutes to carve. So. Those brush strokes, you know, they can be so realistic, you know, just little tiny dabs and bing, you've got an object, you know. These guys, the designers, they spent so much time training how to use the brush, you know. I can't use it at all. I have no skill with a brush. Part of it's from being left-handed, part of it's from being never practiced, never trained. But you know, they can just do anything with a few tiny dabs of that brush, and it'll show anything you want. Okay, I think that straw's done. Remember, these are all, this is all first pass, eh? we're going through this thing, and the shape of these little strokes, I think I've got most of them, you know, acceptable. But when you do a test print, you find out there's stuff that, whoops, look at that fat one, or this one that's ugly, or whatever, you know. Especially back up with those waves I did a few minutes ago up here. It's really hard to see the shape of them in this form, where they're so angular with the shadow, you know. So after we do test printing on these things, all of them, I come back up here, look at the test proof, and trim, pop, click, click, you know. Okay, next. Okay, the straw's done there. As I said, first pass, the mountain's done, the straw's done. Up there's the boat. Who got 3 more guys. I guess in the original, what was there here? There was 8 men, 4 in the front row, 4 in the back row, crisscrossing on oars, a boat with a thing at the back of it. We've simplified this. We've got the bar at the back of the boat is there, but there's 3 guys, and it's just oars, chut, chut, chut. Remember, this is a much, much smaller scale than, and again, what we said yesterday, we haven't just taken the Great Wave and shrunk it down. We've simplified it. We can't just have so many tiny, tiny lines. This is for our print party room. It's going to be beginners printing. Their very first woodblock print will be this one. And it can't be too complex or difficult. So we can't make the lines too thin. Every time there's a thin line, it means the registration has to be that level of accuracy. And some of the people working in our print parties, they get pretty fat thumbs, and they're not so accurate getting it in the blocks. So the lines can't be too thin. Is this going to look like a parody of the Great Wave? No, I think people won't even notice. It'll look just like the Great Wave. You'll pull this off the last block, and oh my God, there's the Great Wave. We'll see. Maybe we'll fail. I don't know. We'll see. Dave's had the same hairstyle for 30 years. I don't do anything to my hair. It's since I was a kid. You just cut it when it gets too long, and that's it, you know. Hairstyle. I don't know what the word style means. Well, I guess that's just as pretentious as people who do styling, you know. My style is no style, or whatever, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just a question of interest. There's stuff that each of us is interested in, and there's stuff that we just don't seem to get interested in, you know. And for me, things like clothes and shoes and hair and stuff, it's just not particularly interesting for me. I don't know why. Other people take lots of pleasure in that stuff, and it just doesn't ring my bell, so whatever. But over and above styling, I've got to get my hair cut soon because I can't see anymore. How are we doing for time? Is Cameron going to get here soon? Because I want to show you those blocks. Once he gets here, we'll switch the camera over, and we got some interesting blocks to look at, 3 or 4 of them. There's one slight disadvantage of this thing here. I'm using an old piece of wood. We talked about this the other day. This is not a fresh, new, clean piece of wood. This is the wood that was the back side to the Peach Boy print that's in our print party room at the moment. We've got the wood. This came from Matsumoto-san many, many, many years ago. 7 or 8 or 9 years ago. A good hard piece. Nothing like we can get that anymore from him. And we used it for the Peach Boy print in the party room. It's lasted very long. It's done 9,000 or so copies now. And I didn't have a new good hard piece for this Great Wave project, so we used the back of the Momotaro block, the Peach Boy block. We split it off the plywood, mounted it on a new piece of plywood, and we're using it. But because it's been in the party room for 3.5 years, it's been used day by day by day. It's been on a pad so it wouldn't slip around. It's been wet and dry and wet and dry and wet and dry. And it's become dark over the years. In fact, you can see here the fresh part that we've carved here is white and bright. And the surface of the wood's quite dark. And that makes it difficult. You put the tracing down, and the tracing is black against dark wood. It's difficult sometimes to see the lines here. So I could have maybe dressed the surface, but it was already quite thin because it had been pasted down once and ripped off. So I didn't have too much extra thickness to play with, so we couldn't really dress it back to a clean surface. So it's quite a handicap here. I hear a question. Just a second. Let me try and get this section finished here. Let's go look in the question box. Yeah, I could have scraped it, but as I said, we didn't have much thickness to play with, so. Question box. There is indeed something in the question box. Someone's asking about sharpening a bullnose knife. I'm not using any of these here today. Tell you what, I don't know. Can you ask me that again when you see me using one of those knives here in the stream, and we can sharpen it then? Someone's asking about my toolbox here. The question is about the bullnose knives, the round knives, how we sharpen them. And it's really just rocking motion on the stone, but I don't want to interrupt today. So ask me again when I'm using one, when I'm out clearing out the larger parts here. We should do more sharpening. I sharpened this morning while I was waiting for the stream to go. My personality, I want to start this thing exactly at the same time each day. Obviously 8 o'clock, it's just my personality. But I can't just sit down at the bench here at 7:59. The streaming software and the video interface card are both quirky, and sometimes they don't start up fresh. So to be able to start a stream at 8 o'clock, I got to get here at least 7:45, and sometimes that doesn't quite make it. And start to get set up. So get set up, and maybe like today, for example, it did. It worked really well. I sat down, the software started up, booted up straight away with no problem, no sweat. I did the stream test, speed test, to make sure the net connection is okay. And then it's 10 minutes before 8 o'clock. So maybe what I should do is just start the stream 10 minutes early, but I don't know, that doesn't, my character, I can't do that. It won't let me do that. So I used that 10 minutes, I sharpened my tools before the stream. And that's a bit silly, I know. It would make more sense to just start the stream early and sharpen while people can see it. But I just want to start on time. It's just built in. Okay, here's the man. We'll use a few minutes here to talk about some blocks. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How you doing? How was the train today?
Oh, not bad.
No late slip?
Nope, no late slip this time.
Is it still raining out there?
What?
Is it still raining out there?
Yeah, but not very hard at all, just very late.
Shiba-san said it was going to be quite warmer today. I don't know.
Yeah, that's forecast said it's supposed to warm up in the afternoon. So.
Spring might be here. Who knows?
Might. Let's see.
Can I borrow you for a few minutes here to help here?
Yeah, sure.
I've got some things I want to show, some wood blocks.
Oh, nice.
Okay, before you sit down, can you, in my rucksack there, there's 4 wood blocks. One isn't wrapped up.
Oh, okay.
If you can bring that.
Just the one?
Just one, yeah. Thanks.
Okay. That's good, right?
Yeah. And then I've got one here behind me and 2 more that we got yesterday. So
okay.
a chance to show these people because this is going to affect some of our Twitchers. So if you can grab the machine,
okay.
That the chat is going, these guys are just been, whatever, there's reams and reams. They were talking about food or something, or I don't know.
No currency today?
No, it was food. I don't know.
We gotta stay on topic, guys.
Oh, here, Cameron, enough lollygagging. The emails aren't going to answer themselves. So, well, here we go, whatever.
Well, good, because I answered some on the train.
On the train, really? Are you turning into a Japanese salaryman here?
I must be.
Are you going to book me for that time?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's see, what do we have here? So I jump in here, or do you want to talk about the new wood?
You could
What's
just,
the
let me
best
get,
thing?
let's just settle in here first.
Okay. All right. Going off catch up. Somebody said, I found this picture of Dave on the internet. It's the one of you on top of your Hyakuni Nishu set with your arms out.
Oh, yeah. That would be 1998, I guess, yeah. What do you mean they found a picture of me on the internet? What, all over? I don't know. What do you mean? I don't understand. What?
I just thought it was a cool picture.
I think that's on my own website, of course.
Yeah.
I think you were talking about beard or my hair or something. I'm in trouble now because I really need a haircut. Yeah, that was the conversation.
The cherry I'm using in the US is considerably softer. It doesn't pop the way yours does.
Ooh. What do you mean, the click sound?
Yeah, the clicks, I think.
Well, maybe that's me, or is it the wood? I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to say here. Sometimes it makes a nice click sound when you get to the end of a cut. Sometimes it's a bit soggy.
Yeah.
And this particular piece is pretty hard, the one I'm using right now. I mean, this is a key block, so this is harder than a lot of the wood we use. Blocks, so I guess I teased about new blocks and stuff, so let's talk about them. So let me put this down.
Okay.
Zoom out a bit. Okay, everybody knows we've been having real trouble finding good cherry wood.
Mm-hmm.
Even right now, this one here, it's a scavenged piece of wood. It's the backside of what was the Peach Boy. What is the Peach Boy still in there? We've split the backside off, pasted it onto a new core, and using it. That's how desperate we are for key block wood.
Yeah. We've
been buying bits and bits of cherry wood, which we've talked about on stream and shown, but they've all turned out to be barely usable for collar blocks, soft wood. We use two types of cherry. One that must be hard and dense for key blocks, and one that's softer. It's still cherry wood, but softer. Right. So here in Yahoo Auction, I've been bidding and winning some auctions on older blocks, and there's lots and lots of stuff out there. It's rare now to find blocks from, say, Meiji era or Taisho or Edo era, because those are sort of museum pieces and we don't want to muck them up. But all through the early part of the 20th century, there was still a ton of woodblock printmaking. And we got an auction a while ago for a bunch of fan prints. Those not uchiwa. What are they called? Sensu, the fans that open with the bones.
Yeah.
And in the box was a bunch of wood blocks. And some of them I'm going to keep because they're interesting. We've got the full set, the rough drawing for the fan, the preliminary carving, the finished carving, the finished fan, and the set of blocks. Yeah. And there's no way I'm going to muck that up. Those are going in the storeroom. Yeah. But there's also some blocks for really boring, not so interesting fans that can be reused. And this wood...
Solid.
It's a bell. It's a musical instrument. You could make xylophone bars out of this stuff or something. I don't know. It's nicely dried and toned and crisp. It's not super hard, but it's hard. I know it's a little bit. drop your tools, Dave. Why don't you? And it's nice. I've tried a little bit of it, and it's crispy. Here's our favorite sound: crisp, crunch, 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 crunch. This wood is usable. And what it is, it's about almost 2 centimeters thick. It's also it's got the stamp from the original block supplier on it.
Wow.
You can see that.
Call them up.
I called them out. These dead since before I was born. Whatever. If you can see it, there's a rubber, not a rubber stamp, a stamp on there, and that will be the maker's name of the guy who supplied these blocks. You know, so. And they're about 2 centimeters thick, and they're carved nicely, fairly shallowly on one side and 2 sides. I got 4 of them here. Oh. So what I'm thinking I want to do is this. I will get these over to a bandsaw, some local workshop here, whatever. Get a bandsaw and just split them in half, just like this, as it is. That will give me 2 flat faces and 2 carved faces.
Right.
And then we paste those 2 down as they are on a plywood core. And then, once it's now pasted down, we then put these things through a planer, take off this down to the level as deep as it's carved. And that will give me 2 fairly thin. They will be maybe 4 millimeters thick or so.
Yeah.
So I will have 2 flat faces. If I try and plane these first to make a full, clean, flat block and then try and split it, there's not enough thickness to play with on the bandsaw. So we're going to bandsaw it first, glue down that bandsawed face, and then plane it and dress it. And what I will do is, because this is quite hard, I won't put these both on the same side of the core.
Yeah.
I will use a softer wood from our own stock plus this hard one, so that we can use it when we're making a print set. We only need 1 hard face in any given print set for the key block. So these 4 pieces of wood here will give me 8 pieces, which I will paste down. And if we use them for something like our Legendary Loot series or next year's subscription series, that'll only be half this size.
Yeah.
So if this turns out, this will give me 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of them. I'll get 16 key blocks from this little scavenged set of wood blocks, which cost me like, I don't know, 7,000 yen or something. Now the downside is we were going to destroy old wood blocks for this.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, I'm going to pick and choose here. The stuff that I think should be preserved, the one that has some meaning that we could tell a story about, that would be interesting, I'll preserve those. But the rest of them are just boring stuff that's worn out anyway, that would never be used again. And 16 wood blocks to come to life to make 16 new prints, I think that's a pretty good bargain for planing off something from the 1920s or 1930s. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll see how it goes. As a rough guide to how it turns out, as part of this same stuff, finding these prints in the auctions here. Also, by the way, I noticed somebody mentioning, I mumbled, we're buying prints on Yahoo auctions, and somebody says, Yahoo? Why don't you go to eBay and stuff? You know, Japan is different.
Japan is different.
eBay came here. When was it? About 10 or 15 years ago or something? I can't remember. eBay did come here. They opened up. We're going to take over auctions in Japan. They lasted whatever X months, and they got their ass kicked.
Nowhere.
They got their ass kicked, and so they left. Well, actually, I heard they're coming back.
Really?
I read in a magazine or something called eBay is going to try again here in Japan.
Interesting.
And they're going to try first with shops and gradually try and slide into doing it by auction. Anyway, Yahoo is the go-to for auctions here.
Yep.
Every night, whatever you're looking for in the world, every night there are Yahoo auctions that cover it. So I got an auction a while ago for an old scavenged block that had been burned in some kind of fire. And what it was text from some sutras, some Buddhist, and it was page 21 and 22 of some multi-volume, 99-volume block.
Yeah.
And again, some of the staff said, Dave, you shouldn't destroy this. You should preserve it. And it doesn't need preserving. Believe me, it's an old burned block from whatever, 1910 or 1890 or something. We're not talking about anything back to the Edo era.
Yeah.
And it was isolated from its set. So I ran it through our planer downstairs. It was too thin. This is too thin to bond onto something else. And I wanted to see just what kind of wood do we have here. So I ran it through the planer, bang, bang, ripped off all the text. And there's some interesting things that came up that were visible.
It sounds like it looks...
One is that you can see places where it's been repaired in little square chunks. And they must match up. Remember, this was all square kanji, all done in columns.
Yeah.
So the guy must have, in some places, he carved the wrong kanji or chipped
Missed
it too badly or something, or missed a stroke or something. And he must have dug his chisel in, carved out a square hole, slammed in a new piece of wood and recarved it. And there's a lot of them. There's 1, 2, 3 on this side, and on the other there's 1, 2. So in the course of carving these 2 book pages, the guy made 5 major errors.
I make more than 5 major errors handwriting my address.
Okay. I'm not dissing him, but whatever. But there's the story. And I don't want to keep planing. I don't know how far down these things go. We're going to lose all the usable thickness on this thing. So the other thing is, when you look at it, you can see what's happening here. There's a red dark place and a white place. And I've been posting and talking about the woodblock usage all the time, and we never, quote, never, can I underline, never, we never use the white part on the outside of the wood because it's just too soft and doesn't hold up. And yet, here's this block from easily 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, where when they bought it, there's the hardwood and the softwood. He bought it and he carved text right from the white through the red back into the white. This was carved end to end. Didn't care.
So it was a smaller tree then.
It was a smaller tree and a smaller usable part. In ideal circumstances, we would ignore this white and just use the red core, but they didn't. Back in an era when this wood was cheap and plentifully available. And it's interesting. Maybe this book was such a cheap production, they bought a B grade or C grade wood. You know, I don't know what it was. Or this was a homemade production, maybe. This could be just some temple doing this by themselves, just getting a piece of wood and hacking away at it without really knowing what you're supposed to be doing.
Although he did a good job with the repairs, it looks like. So.
Yeah, and the text too, but before I destroyed it, was okay. It was just normally carved. You know? It was just it was the square, clunky type of Buddhist sutra type. And the third interesting thing about this is you can see this wasn't visible on the top, that the thing had been worm-eaten. When you looked at the top surface, we just saw text, carved text and lower text. As soon as I took it off, zoom, we got to the inside of the wood. And this wood has been worm-eaten inside. It wasn't visible from the top surface. There must have been a hole somewhere. In fact, there are. You can see there are little tiny holes in the black part where the bugs had gone in. But look at this network. It looks like a series of ant tunnels. This is where some termite or bug or whatever, I don't even know what it would have been, had gone inside at one point and without resurfacing to be visible, had gone in. And look what he's done. He or the group of them have stayed in the white area. They haven't.
Soft.
It's either soft or there's an oil or a rosin or something. I have no idea what the reason for this is.
We got to talk to the bugs.
Talk to the bugs. And they have stayed inside the white area. When you flip it over the same thing on the back, it's clear. This is not random. They have stayed inside that white area. So they've gone through a heavy, thick layer of sumi, you know, the ink and stuff. What's this? I don't know. Got inside and said, oh, I'm in heaven under here. And stayed inside and networked this thing inside without resurfacing. Because you couldn't see this from the front side. So this is kind of cool, you know. We get to my own block one day. This is Dave's, you know, simplified reproduction. They're going to be covered with black ink, and you know, and is this going to get mined inside by some?
Only the core.
Well, of course, this is plywood. That's right. It won't be done. So. But then the other part about this, I've tested this as far as hardness goes, and it's not all that hard. It's interesting because they carve text on this, which we would normally use a hard block for. But it's not all that hard. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to make use of this or not. I'm much more...
Do you have a long, skinny piece you could chop off the white? Or?
Yeah, well, if it turned out useful, we could use whatever, just use that part of it. So, I mean, at the moment, we're so desperate for wood, anything is game. You know, I need a label for the next book we print, whatever. Maybe we'll use that, you know. I'm much more hopeful about this one. I mean, it's a piece of wood that sings.
Rings,
It actually sings, you know. My God. Anybody out there with perfect pitch? What's the note? That's a measurable tone. It actually sings, this piece of wood. So stand by. We'll be using this wood at some point in the future. Anyway, now, more practical. I mentioned this. This came to us yesterday. This is perhaps not going to be so useful for me, but there is a real possibility this may be useful for some of the people out there, our Twitch viewers, who are making prints by themselves. What it is we did a print party yesterday. I've forgotten the gentleman's name. Actually, I didn't know it. He just registered for a print party, came and did the party yesterday. I wasn't the host for it. I was just in and out of the room.
Yeah.
And he grabbed me at one point, and it turns out that he's been making woodblock prints. He's a member of a group in Croatia that is making woodblock prints. He himself works for a furniture making factory. They're making furniture out of different kinds of wood, including cherry.
Huh.
He is also, an amateur printmaker making woodblock prints using cherry. So his two jobs have combined, and he has been supplying cherry blocks to the members of his printmaking group in Croatia. And he didn't bring any prints with him. He showed me a thing on his iPhone, a picture he had of he'd made a woodblock print about 2 feet long and 6 inches high.
Wow.
And the group had some sort of themed exhibition. So everybody had to make a woodblock print 2 feet long and 6 inches high.
Huh.
I think he called it the long line or something was the theme of the exhibition.
Okay.
And he supplied cherry blocks for these guys to do this. And he cut it in half to bring it. It's one piece of wood here. And he's been using his furniture factory facilities to produce wood blocks with a lumber core with cherry on the front. And the ones he's brought me, I first thought they were varnished because they're all shiny. I don't know if you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
It looks like a glossy surface. But he said, no, it's just protection. I guess I should maybe try and take this off. I've never done this before. He said it's a protective layer of something stuck on the top. So let me see if I can get this off here. Can I zoom in a bit? Yeah, here we are. It's a film of some kind, which is just to protect the blocks in transit and whatever.
Yeah.
But it really
Keep it
seems
from getting
nice.
scratched up with the airplane
so
and things.
whatever. So, and here it comes. Look at this. This is a film. It's actually pulling off wood grain. Okay. Anyway, here we are. Oh, I've zoomed in a bit too far. Sorry, guys. My video production skills. So there's the film coming off. It's just a.
Yeah.
And now we have the cherry wood surface. And when he showed them to me yesterday, he's asking me, Dave, can you use this? Can you use this? And although I wanted to be enthusiastic to him, and I was enthusiastic to him, the things that he showed me yesterday, the 2 samples he gave me, have a couple of problems that make it difficult for me. One is that what they've done is, and maybe you can see it here, see there's a line on the video here. There's a line, there's a light area and a dark area. And this is 2 separate pieces of cherry. Oh. This is not the same piece of wood. He's taken smaller pieces, laminated them together. And all of the things he brought me have the same thing. There's a seam.
Yeah.
They're made up of smaller pieces put together.
Side by side.
Yeah, the way they do making furniture, because you can't get such big trees and stuff anymore.
Right.
And that's a real negative for us, because the 2 sides are going to absorb water in some slightly different way. The grain is looking a different way. Yeah. And if you have some color area that will cross over this thing, when you print it, almost certainly the top and bottom will have some different tone.
Yeah.
You might get lucky and it might not, but probably my experience, and I tried this myself.
Yeah.
My experience is, no, you're not there. So.
Yeah.
The other thing is the way that they have cut the planks for preparing these blocks is usable for furniture makers. We've talked about this before. When you've got your round tree, I don't know if I could try drawing this or not. We've done this many, many times.
Well, in answer to your previous question, it's an F. It rings at an F.
Our next woodblock print is tuned to the key of F. Great, good. So as far as cutting the cherry for our use, you've got your tree. These days they do what's called quarter sawing. They get the planks like this because they want planks that have straight grain. They don't warp so easily, and they make a nice pattern for furniture. So all the planks he's done here are cut with straight grain, which means we tend to get these stripes in the finished wood. And for us, we don't want to cut it this way. We want to cut it on the plank like this, so our finished wood has that circular grain pattern. Like I said, it tends to warp a little bit too much sometimes, but it comes up with nice, beautiful patterns, or a non-pattern in the finished wood. So it's 2 sort of a little bit minuses for me, but I didn't shoot him down. This is great. Wow, somebody is trying to make cherry blocks for wood carvers. So let's go. So I passed on my feedback to him about that. From my point of view, these things are a little bit critical. But I also mentioned that out there's a lot of people do I hear Acolyte page, Twitch stream, you know, where people who are trying to make woodblock prints by themselves who have no access to cherry wood. So I asked him, are you going to do business? Are you going to make these things available? Are you going to sell these things? Yeah. He said, well, we're not tooled up for that yet, but yeah, if people are interested, ask them to write to me. And I meant to get it ready right now to copy into the stream, but I didn't do that. So can you go back to the email, go to the party page, in the email
party folder.
Print party folder. Can you search for the word, oh no, I don't even know. It's in capital letters. He reserved in capital letters and his name starts with a B.
Okay. Do they usually have names here? Or are these only ones that you have?
No, this should be in the left-hand column. Did you see a... Go slower, go slower, go slower. Shouldn't be that far back.
Okay.
No, it shouldn't be that far back. Should be near the bottom. Should be within us. Because he reserved just a few days ago and he did the party just yesterday. Up there. Can you sort by the from?
Yeah.
And his name starts with a B. It's capital letters, something 5 letters.
Ben Van?
No. Why is it not showing?
Only a few B's.
Oh, what have I done? Étonné. So we have a look at that.
Oh wait, country shows up though, right? Isn't that
okay, yeah.
There can't be too many Croatians.
Croatia, good. Just search just search for Croatia.
Okay, not by subject line. Date received.
No, the search box searches for everything automatically.
If I can sort it by date. He's not showing up.
If you're sorting by date received, right?
Yeah, if I'm at the bottom here, January, and then something from yesterday from photography.
No.
Oh,
it's not there. What? Ow. It should be right there. Can I put you up for a minute?
Yep.
Sorry.
Of course.
Where are we? We're in the print parties folder.
And now it's
just normal. The date received today. So here it is, right there. It's right there. And then there's
oh, because it didn't show up in the from name though.
Well, no, you had it date received sorted with the oldest ones at the top, kind of, or whatever. Anyway, here it is. Okay. Here's the guy's name. Oh, so let's get his email address. Okay, he gave me permission to do this, so I'll post it into the chat. This is the gentleman's email address, height, and his name is
BORUT.
Oops, it's not here. And there's no web page. You know, I thought maybe the furniture company would have a web page on it. So maybe you guys can search for this. There's his name. Hi, back to Cameron there.
Okay.
So anybody interested in the wood that he's got, and I've got no idea about pricing and sources and sizes and anything. He just said he'd be interested in talking to people about it.
So I said, what should people say when you write to him? Just...
Oh, it's me. Is it Slovenia? Is it Croatia? I've got the wrong country, maybe.
Yeah, that could
Slovenia. That's why.
Okay, but yeah, just write to him and say you heard from David Bull.
Yeah.
That he's making cherry planks, and you want to talk to him. So.
The dressing, it seems smooth. It's not mirror-like at all. It's not on a dress. I think what I might do, you know, now that I think about it, it's too late to do this today, but maybe tomorrow what I should do is we should maybe do an instant printing. If I cut a pattern in just one of these blocks, just get a piece of paper, try printing it, see what comes up.
Yeah, one go.
So, I don't mean to do a print start to finish on one stream. I don't want to start a whole thing all like that. But if maybe tonight, if I get a bit of time or something, cut a piece of pattern on one of these and just try printing one to see what comes up, because it looks okay. I think it's pretty soft.
I'm just gonna dig in right now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a dig at one of these here and see. So. It's soft. It's color block soft. You know, there's no suitable key box, but we knew that. It's color block soft, and it's nicely prepared. So it is. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see. So hopefully this can lead to something.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Suga-san is here. Soka. Is it that time? Is it?
9:26.
Oh my God, we're done. Okay. And I'm on party duty
yeah,
here.
party
Technically.
duty.
So. Watch the wire, Suga-san. Be careful.
Okay.
Right, thank you.
Someone says,
Who's
what if
this?
you use
Must be
the
Tinker
joint
Son.
as a horizontal line, like a
In the
horizon?
sky, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
a bug becomes a feature. Okay, that's
Yeah.
life, isn't it? You try
Yes.
and turn your bugs into features. Good morning, Asai-san. Hello. Come and say hello to the stream. Have you been on the stream before?
Namahoso.
Come and say. Stand behind Cameron here. This is our new face. Come and meet the new face here. We're broadcasting, Asai-san. This is going to our Twitch stream. They've been watching me carve
Oh
this.
wow,
one.
run away.
Run away. She's the youngest member of our team here now. So, absolutely. Speaks really good English, working really well in the print party room. I'm really happy. 2 parties today booked, I think, 10 o'clock and 2:30, I think.
Yesterday there were none, right? Or none planned for today, but then they came
They
in.
came in, of course. It's good.
Wow. Busy time.
The calendar is going crazy. Again, last night. How many were there last night? 4 or 5. Anyway, there we go. That's it. Tomorrow I'll be back here again, same time, same station, chugging away at the Great Wave print.
Yep. Oh, and they found a website for this guy.
Really?
Eurasia.
For the furniture stuff?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
So,
Good.
looks like it will. Take a look.
Sorry.
Oh no! I've done that
Sorry.
before too.
You're fired!
Oh.
That was Asai-san trying to learn where all the light switches work.
They're in weird spots.
Hey, I designed this. You leave it. Actually, I didn't. That one's left over. That's
Yeah.
the one light switch that we couldn't get it out of that concrete pillar because the wires are buried in the concrete pillar. Wow. So I commented just to leave it alone.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to mess with that one. So.
So the light switch for this room is in a different room.
It's in a different room in a concrete pillar where we couldn't get at it.
Yeah.
So that's my excuse. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, Cameron, I got to get out of here. I got to get back to
We
work.
will wrap up.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for
everyone.
joining us. The stream poured along today. The chat poured along. I have no idea what's in there. Hopefully they kept.
Okay. We will see you next time. Bye.